Hello, everyone, and welcome to our international midwifery series here on Just a Sharp Scratch, the Extra Dose. Today, I'm joined by Sydney Gravis, a UK-trained midwife now based in Australia. While she no longer is practicing clinically, Sydney's gone on to become a hypnobirthing instructor, digital creator, and founder of Serene Birthing with Sid. In this episode, we chat about her journey from the NHS to life down under, what led her to step away from midwifery, and how she's now supporting women in a completely new way. We also share a few laughs, including a brilliant story by my co-host about a case of mistaken identity that you won't want to miss. Let's get into it. Hi, and welcome to Just a Sharp Scratch, the Extra Dose, Sydney.
Hello. That was really short, that intro. I was like sat poised waiting for some more, and then I was like, okay, hello, I'm here.
It's just
Thanks for having me.
Well, we could say that's good. No, thank you for coming on, and we'd say good morning, but for you, it's good evening, isn't it? Really,
it is tea time.
It's tea time.
Yeah, not that they know what tea time is in Australia because they only say dinner, so it's very confusing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't say dinner. Dinner's lunch, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's for me.
I know.
It's dinner time.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll start a debate now on TikTok or Twitter. Kind of go, what's going on?
Is it dinner or is it tea? I feel like we say tea.
You say tea? Yeah, for tea. Yeah. What are you having for tea?
I just did I did a video on my Instagram the other day about Aldi because they do British week at Aldi, and I said English week, and then people saw Tunnocks and they were like, "What about the Scots? It's Scottish week too." And I was like, "Oh my god, I know Iron Brew isn't from where I'm from, but it's just I just said English, just flippantly. I just meant British.
Yeah.
I meant
home.
Exactly."
Stuff from Aldi's own home stuff this week.
Yeah, exactly. I should have said that.
That's it.
To start things off, we on this podcast at Just a Sharp Scratch, the Extra Dose, we do icebreaker questions. I feel like we've kind of broke the ice anyway, but should we do an icebreaker question? Is that okay?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so do you want to pick a number between 1 and 200?
30.
It's a bit of a big...
It is 30.
30. Right, let's go and have a look. Let me see. Okay. If you could choose 2 famous people to have dinner with, who would it be?
Tom Hardy.
Oh, nice.
I've just been watching Mobland and I'm just like, he's unbelievable.
Would you have Tom Hardy as himself, though, or would you have him as a character?
Oh, because, I don't know, that's so, because I feel like he's probably quite similar to a lot of the characters he does, apart from he doesn't murder people on the regular. But, maybe I'd have him in character. Although, I don't know.
Or just get him to read you a bedtime story.
Oh, yeah, that would be phenomenal. Yeah.
Have you seen his bedtime stories?
I haven't heard his, but I have. Is it? I'm sure it's on the Calm app. I'm sure they have it on the Calm app, but I don't know if it's on.
It's CBeebies, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I know that they have them on there because they had the Ramseys on there, but I'm sure there's one on the Calm app as well when they get famous people to come in and do bedtime stories. So I wonder if it's on there. I'm trying to think of someone else because I would have said James Corden, right? But I've gone off him because I've heard that he's not very nice.
Same.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bit of a diva.
Yeah, a bit of a diva. Who would the second person be? Oh gosh, I don't even know. Maybe. Oh well, she's not here anymore. But
That's all right.
What's her name off Harry Potter? The Scottish one. She's like, oh here, dearie. I can't remember.
Oh, I love her.
Prince McGonagall.
McGonagall. Yes, she was also in
Downton Abbey.
Sister Act.
Oh, was she? Well. Oh, yeah, and Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
She's epic.
Main nun in Sister Act. Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, they're good choices. Yeah. I think I would pick. At the minute, I'm a little bit obsessed with Barbara O'Neill, so I think I would have to pick Barbara O'Neill.
I don't even know who that is.
No, I'm there going.
You have to, after this, Google her. She's an Australian lady. She is not medically trained, I don't think, at all. But her knowledge is massive.
Really?
And she looks at alternative treatments for anything. And she looks at healthy eating and how what you put into your body or on your body will have effects for everything.
Wow.
But her wisdom is huge, and people are trying to like cancel her at the minute because they're saying you're not medically trained, the information she's given isn't great, but everything that she says to me makes sense. Everything.
Yeah.
Like, so one of my children had a cold recently, and she said put garlic on their feet, bandage it overnight, boom, cold is gone. I'm like,
really?
Right, I'm now going to listen to, so now I'm just like, feel like I'm living by Barbara O'Neill.
Oh my God, so good, love it.
Google her afterwards.
I will.
I would look, she was in London not that long ago, and I really wanted to go and see her.
Mm-hmm.
Not like stalk her in a weird way, like she was doing an event. Not like just rock up and find her.
My worry is that your feet would smell, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
Standing in Sainsbury's queue, got garlic attached to my feet.
It didn't smell great at all. Their bedroom stunk. But got rid of their cold, stopped the coughing at night. Everyone got a peaceful night's sleep. Perfect.
Get in.
I'd have to pick someone funny for the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have a toss-up between Sharon Osbourne, because I find her hilarious, and Russell Kane, because I also find him hilarious.
Yeah, Russell's funny, isn't he? Mm-hmm. I feel like now you've been talking, I'm like, no, would I have McGonagall there, even though I know that's not a real name. I feel like I'd probably have someone that was like like Jay Shetty or someone to make me feel really positive and like, like Mel Robbins style.
Inspirational.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins?
Yeah.
Imagine.
That would be sick.
I feel like we need a dinner party with like 10. We pick 10
yeah.
It would just
imagine
be an
a lineup.
thing. I think for myself, I probably would have gone Robin Williams.
Oh, yes.
Great
Epic.
Robin Williams.
Yeah,
just to have a laugh and a giggle and talk about him and stuff like that. And for me, it's still going to be Stephen Fry. And I know I've mentioned this before with Elle, where I love his intelligence. It's fantastic, and he's so knowledgeable. But because I listen to the Harry Potter audio books,
me too. I'm listening now.
You listen? Yeah. My problem is I can't listen to his voice for too long because it puts me to sleep. So the dinner party, you might have eaten soup. Next minute, I'm just straight into it. That's my only fear. So I want to meet him, but I'll be like narcoleptic. That's the only fear that it would happen.
Tom Hardy will be doing bedtime stories. Stephen Fry will be reading Harry Potter, and everyone will be nodding.
Yeah, it's just begun. In me soup,
we
and away
need
we
a
go.
comedian to keep us awake.
He's so good though. He is unbelievable. I'm on the fourth one, and it is just phenomenal. Like you just know exactly who he is on each of the
voices. He does.
So good. I love his Hagrid. Yeah, he's great.
Brilliant.
Which book are you on at the minute?
The fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we'll test you. Elle, what's the fourth Harry Potter book? Go on.
I don't know. Do you know what? Okay, Philosopher's Stone first.
Yes.
Yep.
Then is it Order of the Phoenix next?
No.
Hang on. Philosopher's Stone. Oh, no, the Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah.
That's next.
Prisoner.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh,
and then
Save a Life.
No, it's not the one with where they put the names in the thing. It is. So that's my son's favourite one. What's it called? The Goblet of Fire.
Yes.
There you go.
That's the one I'm on.
Off the top of my head, my brain doesn't work, but if you give me a minute, kick this.
Skin of your teeth. You got it. Right. We can talk about this all day, but we have to get on because we're here for a very special reason. Well, questions I kind of wanted to ask you first is obviously you qualified as a midwife back in 2015. So what inspired you to kind of pursue midwifery? And how did you imagine you would end up leading your life in Australia?
I know, God, that's mental. Well, it was never ever an option to move when I was at university. It was just like, go to uni, secure your job as soon as you kind of at the end of your third year, and then that's it. You've got to get your band 6, which is basically doing your suturing, cannulation, blood transfusion, all your extra training so you can go up. And there was never really option to move away. It was just like whatever. And I wanted to be a midwife from being young. The One Born Every Minute was on all of the time, and I was obsessed with that. But I wanted to be a midwife pre that, to be honest. I'm an only child, and I remember my cousin getting pregnant. It must have been about 14 years ago now, and I was just like, wow, how is the body growing bones and stuff? Like, what the hell? Like, I just couldn't believe it.
It's like an alien.
Yeah. And I was just like, I remember she was at the hospital and I really wanted to text her loads and ask what was going on, but then I didn't want to annoy her. And I just thought, oh God, I'd love to do that, but I'm not clever enough. I'll never get that. And then I managed to wangle my way through school by the skin of my teeth. And then had to go and resit biology because I didn't pass that at school, even though I was in top set. And then 2 years it took me to get into university. I didn't get in for the first 5 that I applied for. And then I applied for another 5 the next year. And then I got into only one. But the thing is the one that I got into, I went in and they were so warm and lovely. And it was like an actual conversation where I thrive in, rather than, this is what you need to tell me. What are the answers to this? And it's just such an awkward scenario that is just horrendous. And I just hate any sort of interview process like that. And I just don't do well in scenarios like that. So when it was like an open chat with them and it was like really friendly, they got the best out of me. And I actually came away and I was like, I think I've got that. Like, I just had a feeling. And originally I didn't want to move away from home. I was like, my friends are out every weekend. Like, I live in Newcastle. It's a great night out. I can stay in Newcastle. It'll be fine.
Yeah, Geordie Shore.
Yeah, literally. And then got into Sheffield and I thought, right, I'm going to have to move. And it's only 2.5 hour drive. And I did. So, yeah.
So you've worked in the UK and Australia. What's like the striking differences in the maternity services between the two, and how did you manage to adjust to the changes going from the UK to Australia?
The reason why I chose Australia was because it was the most similar to the UK, as in the midwifery role is. But the first thing that springs to mind when you ask that is autonomy. I felt like I was more autonomous in England than I have been in Australia, and I think that's just over time you build good relationships with the people that you work with and the doctors, and then they trust you to do more. But I do feel like it's quite heavy. The doctor's decision is quite heavy in Australia compared to what it's like when I've been in England. So in England, I worked in a birthing centre where we didn't have any midwives, so I worked there quite a lot, which meant that we made a lot of the decisions, which was great. And then up on delivery suite, the doctors were there, but we kind of would make the care plans and ring them and say, this is what we think. And another thing that we do, that I used to do in my old hospital, and I did it in both hospitals in the UK, is we used to have a ward round for every patient on delivery suite. So at the beginning of a shift, you would have a back and forth. They would come around to each room. You would have like the full history. You would talk about the history, talk about what's happened in labour, and then talk about what your plan is. And the doctors will then say, great, or can you add this? But where I worked in Australia, there was no one knew any of the patients, and we didn't get they didn't come around and do handovers, the doctors. So sometimes when the doctors' shifts changed, there was just different doctors then there, and it was like, oh, who are we talking to? Who are we ringing? So it's a bit like the communication was not quite as good, I found. But I've only worked in one hospital, so it's really difficult. And I worked in a public hospital, which is basically the same as NHS. So you've got private, which is the same as private back home. And then you've got NHS, which is similar to public out here.
Oh, okay, so was like the dynamic between midwives and stuff? Is that this? Would you find that the same over there? Were they like friendly to you coming over as a midwife?
Well,
but you fit in, got there.
Oh yeah, like that was fine. I mean, I am totally like Marmite, so people are really like, Jesus, she's loud whenever I'm somewhere new. So it often takes me about 3 to 6 months to get around people, and they understand that I'm really sarcastic, and then they get it a little bit. But I think it was actually pretty okay. And the hospital that I worked in, we had, there must have been about 30 of us that were brought over from England, Scotland and Ireland, all working in the same hospital. So there was quite a lot of us there, which was quite nice. But also the Aussie midwives were really lovely. Like that's probably one of the most things that I miss, is like having a bit crack, like with the girls who were on shift. But yeah, I mean, there's clickiness everywhere, but I didn't find it difficult to like get on with people. I like it was fine.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
For people thinking about coming over, that's really nice for them to hear that, isn't it? Because I think that's one of the things that people would worry about is like fitting in when they get there. So that's really nice and reassuring for people considering the move.
Yeah, for sure.
Martin, how's your connection doing?
I'm hoping it's a lot better, or is it still the same?
Good. No, you're good. We can hear you. It's good.
Oh, you gotta love it. Gremlins, isn't it? Down the internet connections. That's what it's all about. Okay, so Sydney, the thing I was going to ask you as well is around your kind of Instagram offers, such as Raw and Honest Glimpse into your kind of journey as a midwife abroad. What kind of motivated you to kind of share your story so openly with the world?
Oh God, I've got verbal diarrhea. I'm open with everything and everyone that I should not say stuff to, and then I'm always like, oh dear, it's said now, never mind. And yeah, I'm like, I'm getting better with age. My friends would tell you, who I've been friends with since school, I'm much better since when I was 18. So, like, honestly, swear to God, I've used Instagram flippantly, like my private Instagram. And then when I moved out here in February 24, I just was like, do you know what? There's loads of girls at work who are talking about wanting to move. And I also want my friends and family to be able to see what I'm up to because we're on complete opposite time zones. So I'm just going to set an Instagram up and show people that there is more to life than just staying in one job. And and show people what Melbourne is like for my friends and potential people who want to move out and have a job there, who I already work with. So I just started posting, and like the first month I didn't have any work. So I was just like 3 posts a day. I was just like the artwork, this. I was like, this is so fun. I was like, what the hell? And then I was talking about stuff, and I was doing it for me as well, because I knew that there was I had quite a lot of followers through my recruitment agent who had said she's moving out there and she's documenting what she's doing. So I had people who I knew were coming out, and there's things like they do like things like it's called fit to work checks and working with children checks. They're like extra security checks that they do out here, that you have to go in the post office and you have to do specific things to get specific cards so that you're allowed access and all of these things. And I didn't have a clue how to do any of it, so I just then started saying, this is the step-by-step guide on what you do, and then people will be like, oh, this is really helpful. And then within a month, I think I got 40,000 followers, maybe within 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, I know.
Mental.
Wild. And then people started requesting. They were like, how much is a food shop? Can you take some food shop? Where are you going to get rentals? Like, what's the housing market like? And I was like, okay. So I just started taking people around.
Ideas?
Yeah, exactly.
They give you the content ideas, don't they?
Yeah.
Not
literally
paid content ideas for you. It's perfect.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
But like following on from that, to wrap like your social media and things, you're really open, aren't you, with like the highs and the lows and the wins of working internationally. How important is it to you to be authentic online? Because it's very clear that you are really you, and that's probably why people fall in love with you and want to follow you, because you're so authentically you and not like anyone else.
Yeah.
How do you kind of maintain that, and what is that to you?
See, that is such an odd question to me, because like someone else asked me this and I was like, well, is everyone not authentic? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh
no.
See, I'm just like, I pick up my phone and I record a video and I put it out. That's it. Like, I very rarely will take something twice. And you'll see on my stories, I'll swear, or I'll say something stupid, or I'll say something that doesn't make sense, and then I'll explain myself. But I just have always been like that. That's just how I am. I'm just straight up. And like, if you ask my friends, like what they like about me, it's probably that I'm really loyal, but also that I'm like straight to the point. Like, I'm not going to say to someone, you look good in that, or you should go out wearing that when it looks shit. Like, I'm just not that type of person. But also I want to make people feel good. So I just wanted to help people and also make people feel good. And then I found it just really easy. And I was thinking, people are actually following me for stuff that I don't actually find challenging putting out there. Like, I'm just literally talking about my day-to-day stuff. And like, that's pretty easy for me. So when people say, I don't know how you do it, and I'm just like, oh, it's not that hard. I don't find it that difficult.
You think that it's so, how can you be someone you're not? How can you have to just be who you are?
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, they struggle to be who they are. So they put on a facade,
yeah.
or, certain things to kind of a kind of posher voice, a phone voice or something.
Yeah.
You know, when they're doing their videos, but it's not authentically them. So I just think it's really cool just to be you, isn't it? And that's again another thing that's really inspiring for anyone, but especially like young midwives to follow, or newly qualified midwives to follow and be like, it's fine just to be me, just be myself.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's your superpower, isn't it? No one else is you.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and like
that's what's really good.
Yeah, I just enjoy I just enjoy helping people. Like as a midwife, you're an empath, and you like helping people and looking after people. And like I've left kind of full-time midwifery because I'm like, well, I can help people another way now, and I've got a platform that other people don't have that I can help in another way. Yes. And people, a lot of my followers from the beginning are like, what is going on here? Like, this is like
keeping everyone on their toes.
Yeah.
Like, where is she now? I loved it when you went to Dubai and then you weren't in Dubai. I was like, oh, she's now not in Dubai anymore. What's she been doing? And then I was like, and then it got me excited then. I was like, I want to see what she's up to. So this is what people are doing.
I know.
Keeping people on their toes. I feel like you should have a little TV show, to be honest. I definitely watch.
Yeah. And we'll all be sat here really jealous, sat in the cold whilst looking at you where you're in Bali and all this kind of stuff the other day. It's like,
you've made me want to move again, you know. Honestly, we're actually looking at potentially moving again at the end of the year. So we lived in Australia before children 10 years ago. And we've been thinking about moving for a while. But now I'm like, I wasn't 100%. My other half was like, definitely we should go.
Oh, really?
I was like, I don't know, on the fence. And then as I'm watching more of your stories and more of your Instagram, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm now bored. This looks great. I want to go where Sydney is. Let's go there. Cool.
How old are you? How old are your kids? Oh my God, the coffee's amazing.
10, 8 and 1, but my 8-year-old and 1-year-old will be 9 and 2 in the next couple of weeks. So within the next couple of weeks, it'll be 10, 9 and 2. Just,
okay.
I can't actually saying out loud, it makes me like, wow. It makes me feel old.
Don't be daft. Would you be all right here with do you reckon, over in Australia? Have you got people that can help?
Yeah, so my partner's parents live over there. They're in Brisbane. They live just outside Noosa.
Oh, nice. I love Noosa. It's my fave.
That was my favourite when we were there as well. So I came home because I had hyperemesis in my first pregnancy, so 10 years ago. Had hyperemesis, and because we were in Melbourne at the time, and so my in-laws lived in Brisbane, and there was only me and my partner. Actually, my brother-in-law was in Brisbane as well at the time, and there was only me and my partner in Melbourne. We didn't know anybody else, and he was still having to go to work, and I was in and out of hospital being rehydrated every 3 or 4 days. And then I was 24.
My mum.
I was like, Mom, I need to come home. So we had an agreement. We're like, hey, let's go home, like make you feel better, get over that like bit of pregnancy. If it kind of, stops and the sickness subsides, then we'll come back. And then I ended up saying, like, I'd worked as a midwife already in the UK. I knew the consultants. I was like, let me just have my baby here because I feel better having the baby here. And then as soon as the baby's born, we'll go back. And then, my mom's like, you can't take the baby now.
Oh, God.
And then I needed support from my mom, my sister. And then we're like, we'll go back in, maybe a couple of years. Then we had our second baby, who was born at 32 weeks. And I was like, I need all the help I can get here with a toddler and a tiny preemie newborn. And then life just happened. And then we had another baby, and we're 10 years back from now, saying when we wanted to go back, like, what do we do? And so my partner applied for a job, which he got.
Amazing.
And he was like, what should we do? Do we go? Do we not go? And his sponsorship allows us all to go as a family. And I was like, I didn't know. And then now I'm kind of, I'm watching and I'm like, okay.
The thing is that swings it for me. It's like the lifestyle for children. The weather makes you generally happier. Like today is winter, but the sun is warm. The sky is blue. You go out for a walk and you feel nice. Like in Melbourne, it's cold. In Brisbane, it's not. It's like cooler, but it's not cold. But I just can't imagine ever living in England again.
Really?
Yeah,
it's so nice to hear.
It's nicer for the kids for sure, I think. I mean, I didn't have children when I went out the first time, but you can just see the lifestyle, and everyone was just super friendly. I remember the first day I got to Brisbane. I remember walking down the beach. It was in Noosa. It's in Noosa. I was walking down Noosa Head to Main Beach, and this man stopped and said, "You okay? Like, you okay?" How did he say it?
How you going?
How you going? That's it. How you going? And I was like, I didn't know. I was like, I'm going to get some lunch. I was like, I didn't know what he said, and he kind of just frowned at me and walked off. And then a little bit further down the beach, someone else, "How you going?" And I was like, have I got something on my face? Because I'm not used to people like saying just being nice.
Yeah.
What's their ulterior motive? What's wrong with me? And then I sat down at like a little bar to have some food, and this couple came in, and there was so many empty tables and chairs, and they said, "Oh, can we join you?" And I was like, what the hell is going on? Why would you want to come and sit with me? Like, there's tables over there. And then I realised really quickly that people are just nice. And I don't think English people are used to people being nice.
I know.
So I was like, I just loved that. And then, like you said, everyone's just happier. The weather's nice, walking along. Yeah, you have a nice day. You having a good day. Because people are just happier. So I was like, I want that. I want my children to think that's normal.
One of the girls at work here, she brought her 2 kids over, and her youngest went, "Oh, Mummy, I just love going to the park, not in wellies."
Oh.
Oh
no. Because it's always freezing cold here.
Yeah.
Oh, bless. Do you know what? That's it. And you always wear, what do they call boardies, don't they? Swimming shorts, boardies.
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard that.
My kids also find it really funny that they basically kept calling flip-flops thongs, because my mum would say it. Like, they call them thongs. And I was like, stop saying thongs. And they're like, why? What's wrong with thongs? Like, that also means ladies' pants. So now they find it hilarious thinking that my friends wear
got me lady pants on. Yeah, on my feet. Ladies' pants on my feet. No, brilliant. Right, so Sydney, one thing I kind of want to also is around about, you qualified as a hypnobirthing instructor. Kind of, what led you into kind of that space, and how do you feel it kind of enhances the birthing experience for parents?
Well, I feel like for the first half of my career, I guess, or the years that I've done, you kind of are quite focused on the medical aspect. You're really wanting to increase your knowledge on looking after people who are high risk, so you understand what drugs they need, what observations they need, what additional things that they need, so that it builds up your confidence and also your knowledge, I guess. And then during COVID, so 2020, I started actually doing mindfulness practice myself in my home life. So I became single. I moved back into my own house that I owned, and obviously I had so much time. So I was going to work. I wasn't seeing my mum because my mum was caring for my nana, and I didn't want to give them anything because obviously we didn't know what was going on. So it was the nicest. I was having baths, red wine. I was meditating. I was having chocolate in the bath. I was just chilling, and I was like, this is so nice. And I started reading books, learning how to meditate, setting myself goals. I used to have a pin board with all the goals that I wanted, and looking at affirmations and how like using positive language can help you feel better in yourself. And then I started doing lots of exercise, and things started happening like a domino effect of positive things, like lots of good started to happen. And then I remember someone talking about hypnobirthing, and we all used to go, oh God, oh no, someone's coming in who's doing hypnobirthing. Oh no. And like all the older midwives would be like, I'm not looking after her. She'll have a laminated birth sheet and it'll be like this long. And I was like, oh God. Anyway, I then was like, I'm going to go and do hypnobirthing. And all the girls were like, oh Christ, okay. And like I went in and I was like, this just makes sense. Like, it just makes sense to me. It's all about the hormones. Having high stress hormones can affect your labour. Having high oxytocin can make your labour more effective, and it can make you happier. And why don't we celebrate birth? It's meant to be a natural process. Our bodies as women are designed to give birth. Why is it like we're going to get a leg amputated when women are going into labour? They're terrified. What's going on? What have we been conditioned to believe birth is, from TV programs, from other people's stories? Because you only hear horror stories, by the way. No one ever comes up to you and says,
yeah, no one ever tells you the good stuff.
My birth was amazing. Here, look how good it was. So
never get that.
No. And I just thought, God, this is amazing. So I did lots of work about the mind and how what you put in your mind affects your body, and all of the negative self-talk and stress can all impact how your body reacts. And if your uterus is a muscle and you're feeling stressed, being tense is going to affect your labor, because your uterus is a muscle, and the more tense it is, the more pain that you're going to feel, or discomfort, or I call it like intense. I say that it's intense, labor's intense, but I just feel like I wanted to do more normal and strip it back and be like more primal, and try and teach women very simply, this is what your body's doing during labor. This is what the uterus is doing. It's a muscle. It's like the heart, it contracts and releases, and that's exactly what the uterus is doing to help open the cervix and allow your baby to come out. Like that's all it is. And then I was like, right, how can I teach them steps to make them feel more confident? So I'd be like, let's get a vision board. I would say our sessions would be like, okay, let's have a look. We're going to do like a traffic light system where do wants, this is exactly what I want. Ideally, I want to feel calm. I want to feel confident. I want to feel safe. I want to have a pool birth. I want to have skin to skin. I want to breastfeed. And then we'll go, right, let's have a look at your don't wants. These are the things that you really like. Oh my gosh, I'm terrified. So it could be cesarean section, epidural, my mother-in-law being there. Like, you know, like just like just daft stuff like that. And then we would have an amber column. And what I would do is I would actually, the first session, go through all of their don't wants, and we would just break it down. And often once you talk about each aspect of it, they would go, oh, well, yeah, well, I would have an epidural if that was how I was feeling. Or now you've explained to me that I can have this or that, that would make sense. If the baby was in some sort of distress, maybe I would need to have that because that would quicken things up, and that makes sense to me now. And then what we would do is we would go, right, let's get an arrow from that piece and move it into the neutral section. And what that does in their brain, it goes, I'm terrified, to actually, I'm okay with that now. And I would just do that over and over again with them, with things that came up. And I used to say, it's like the princess and the pea. People ignore their worries about birth until the day they go in. You have to talk about them during your pregnancy, because you wouldn't go into an exam and not practice. You have to practice your breathing techniques. You have to practice your positivity so that you go in and you're ready for it.
The amount of people that I've set, so look, I'm an independent midwife now, and the amount of women that will say to me, oh, I don't think I'm going to do a birth plan because ignorance is bliss. I'd rather not stress about it beforehand and go in. And I'm like, no, even if, right, and lots of people say they want to go with the flow. I'm like, okay, even if you want to go with the flow, not only to be prepared, like you said, super, super important to be prepared, but also how can you make an informed choice when you haven't been given all the information or even looked at your options?
Yeah.
So if you're in, like you said, having that intense surge and you're feeling really in the zone with your labour, and a midwife comes in and goes, right, do you want this? Or are we doing control cord clamping? Are we giving you symptometrin after the baby's born? How are we getting this placenta out? You can't make an informed choice in that situation.
No.
You can't. You physically can't. So I always say to them, even if you don't want to make a set birth plan because you want to go with the flow, let's empower you with education, know your options and your choices, and at least feel okay with what you want. Let your birth partner know what you want. Let your midwife know what you want. And then if you're not in a position to make those choices, or you're firing out, well, you know, you can change your mind. But if you've got the information and you're empowered.
And it makes them feel safe. Yeah, I used to say, if your birth partner knows what your birth preference is, I always call them preferences rather than a plan, because you can never stick to a plan with birth. I say, if you and your partner have gone through what your preferences are, you know that they know the answer to the midwife's questions without you having to explain to them. Because when you're in the zone and when you're really into it, someone talking to you repeatedly, you having to make decisions, is going to snap you out of that mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was looking at all of my conditioned beliefs in my life about myself and things that I'd grown up with from my parents and learned behaviors. And I was like, right, well, if I'm trying to change those and I'm using mindfulness and meditation to change my conditioned beliefs, can we do that with women's conditioned beliefs about birth by using like hypnosis and like guided meditations for 12, 15 weeks in pregnancy, even 20 weeks, depending on how long when they first start doing the practice. If we can do that every day, it's going to change their subconscious beliefs around labour and birth. And also, as you say about informed choice, like, I just think what happens is, just like anyone, whether you're pregnant or not, you go into a GP's practice, you see one GP, they tell you one thing, you go away and you do that thing. Well, if you went and saw 10 GPs, they'd all give you something slightly different. You've got to be able to get all of the information that's statistically correct so that you can make an informed choice for yourself holistically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what is best, I think it's what is best for some women is not best for all women either. And that's the thing, because, you know, they think, a lot of women say, oh, well, my mum did this or my sister did this, so I'm just going to do what they did.
Yeah.
But understanding it from a personal point of view and an individual, because that's what we do as midwives, don't we? We look at things we should look at things from an individual perspective. And that woman, and even down to pregnancy, each pregnancy is individual. The same woman having another pregnancy, it might be completely different for her, or how she feels at the time, or her views might have completely changed. I mean, I was a midwife before I had any of my children. And my most recent pregnancy and labour, I did something entirely different to the other 2 times, because my views had just changed and what I believed had changed. And that's down to me researching and me being more empowered with education. So that's something I'm super passionate about, is making sure women actually know, so they can't be coerced into making choices, but also can't be pressured into kind of making a choice on the spot without the correct information. So I think the two kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it's really important to give the information, but allow them to understand it and be like at peace with these things and not be stressed. So I think I'm a massive advocate for hypnobirthing too.
Me too.
To be honest with you, me coming from mental health background and stuff, it's lovely to hear this. It's really good, and it's so sad that there isn't more of it in all areas and all fields, because it's going back to basics, and I think we've lost it. I think we're kind of heading towards the science and medication and stuff like that,
it's
because
also
it's a default. It's
time constraints. It's like a lot of doctors, especially, and some midwives will say, the amount of times I've heard, we haven't got time to be airy fairy. We haven't got time to be airy fairy. We need to get this lady in, get her out. We've got patients waiting. I did a delivery once, and it was super calm. It was all dark. It was all calm. Very complicated situation. The lady didn't come from a very nice background, so I was trying to keep her as calm as possible. And
did someone come in and turn the lights on or something? Yeah.
Vertex was visible.
Was
visible. Midwife came in, turned the light on, and went, "Have you got the BM machine in here?" I was like, "Get out! Go!" So then this woman, all like tensed up, she hadn't give consent for a VE, which I'm totally fine with. Like, at no point did she want a VE. Come from a really difficult background, and so I spent hours
preparing,
allowing her to trust me, preparing, and now we're getting this. I knew she was fully dilated. I could see external signs, but we've now allowed for this descent. We can now see vertex. We're about to have a baby, and the experience that she'd had previously was about to change from a negative to a positive. This woman just coming in, like, not even with no care in the world, turning the light on. So I kind of got quite annoyed. So I left my student there for a second. I stepped out the door and I was like, "Please don't come back in here and turn the light on." It took me a long time to calm her down. And she said, "We'll have a conversation after." Went back in. Luckily, we ended up having a lovely normal delivery.
That's nice.
To turn it back around.
Brilliant.
But she said afterwards, "You do know how busy we are. Like, you could have been telling her to push, basically." And I was like, there was no need for me to do that. This woman was traumatized, and we were having a really calm labour. And then she said, I said, "My duty of care is for this woman." And she said, "Well, what about the ladies that are in triage on a bed waiting for a delivery room?" I was like, "But as a midwife, my responsibility is with the woman I'm caring for now."
And that's not the woman's fault. That's not your woman's fault.
The unit's busy.
No.
That was the day.
Why should the mums in triage get the kind of presidential treatment of them being next? It's just kind of like, hang on, I should be focusing on this person. They should be getting my full attention.
Of it like, it's like a conveyor belt. They want you get her to push, get her out, get her on the postnatal ward, get the next woman in. No consideration for the woman's feelings or the mental load that's going to have on her afterwards, or her breastfeeding rate, or the fact that she's probably going to end up needing suturing because that
takes longer. Exactly. Yeah.
More medical intervention. Like, let her just breathe this baby out because it's coming. So I just think it's just, don't get me wrong, if that machine was bleeping off and there was a problem, we need to take that baby out quickly, we change our plan.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Mum was fine, baby was fine. There was no reason we couldn't have had that normal physiological birth. But that was the last ever day I worked a shift on the delivery ward. I went to my line manager. I was like, I am not doing that again, because that's not the midwife I want to be.
Yeah.
And if that's the kind of sense of what they want here, that's
not for me.
So after that, I went on to community, and I just was like, we'll just do home births. I felt like I could care for more women
in the way that you want. Yeah.
They weren't allowing me to on there. So that was my turning point, which is sad, isn't it? So I think
it is sad.
If we had, and I don't necessarily blame the midwives as such, what I blame is the lack of staff and the caseloads are going high, the staff's, becoming less. So no one's got time to care anymore, which is just awful.
I know.
It's just awful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is awful. So, that's one thing that's really nice about here is you're capped at 4 postnatals.
Really?
Mm-hmm. 6 on a night and 4 on the day. And in some states, the babies are counted. So you have 2 mums and 2 babies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, we were postnatal was looking after 12 women.
Yeah,
12
easy.
women, 12 babies on shift.
Yeah.
There's your 24.
Mm-hmm.
That's on a standard.
I know.
Standard shift, that is.
Insane.
That's just crazy to hear that.
I'm coming to Australia.
We'll all move. We're all going. Quick, get the tickets. Find the boat.
So, I mean, I feel like we've kind of covered this next question. And also, I know you're not practicing currently at the minute, but go back to when you were practicing. How did you juggle? I feel like I know the answer to this actually, but how did you juggle the content creating and the working? I guess it comes natural to you, doesn't it?
And that was hard.
It's really
hard. It was hard. It was hard. Like, something that I've done is I actually message back 80% of the people who message me on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's a consuming, that is.
It's a lot. So I would be working long days and then on my phone. And I would say when it got really busy, the first kind of 3 months, it was just taking over my life. I was working 40-hour weeks, shifts, then trying to kind of have a normal life myself and get to bed on time. But then what was happening is, because my night times were English, like UK's mornings, my mornings and nights were consumed by my phone, because I feel like I've got ADHD, and with my ADHD, I can't bear having comments. I can't bear having things where it's like 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'd be like, and I used to have it all coming up on my phone. So I actually turned the notifications off. So now I just don't have Instagram notifications on, and I really try and get back to the majority of people, but sometimes I actually just genuinely miss messages. But I struggled quite a lot with trying to edit the videos. The taking the videos are okay, but it's the editing the videos, which I'm much quicker at now. And if you go back to my videos like a year ago, they were shit, but they're getting better. They're much better now. And I can edit very quickly, but I couldn't then. So it took me a while to get used to all of those things. But it's really weird. There's been like peaks and troughs with my following. So I could have like a massive spike of like 15, 20, 10,000, and then it'll go off for like a month. And when I was working a lot and not posting as much, it went stagnant, maybe around 70,000 for a good while. And then I went through a breakup, so I got 10,000 then. My nana died, I got 15,000 then. I then was traveling more and I got more then. And people just love like a journey, like what you're doing and where you're going. And they love misery. A lot of the UK, they're like, you're having a breakup, get in. Let's watch her cry on the show.
That's the thing.
Let's watch her breakdown.
To prove the point that we're actually miserable.
So
we love a bit of EastEnders drama.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a episode of EastEnders. Yeah. So it was difficult, but then obviously I got my permanent residency, and then that allowed me to lower my hours, which meant it was easier. And I think this year I've probably had about 30 to 40,000 followers this year.
It's amazing.
Wow. Because that was one thing you mentioned before, wasn't it? That when you move to Australia, you have to work full time. You can't reduce your hours down until you get that permanent residency. So that's something that kind of shocked me. Because if you're not prepared, what's full time hours there? Is it 40 hours or is it?
Depends which state. So in Melbourne, it's 40 hours, but it's what they don't tell you is it's 80 across 2 weeks. So you could do 50 to 60 1 week. And then 20, 30 the week later. Yeah.
And do you have to like rotate as well? Is that like You're on rotation when you start.
I was on rotation, so I pretty much worked everywhere, and then I didn't like birthing. Just so medicalized. Everyone had epidurals. Everyone was like, they had a continuity team, and they all got the low risk women, so they got all of the nice births. And yes, I did have lovely births, I'm not going to lie, especially on night shifts when people came in spontaneous labor. I had lovely births on there. But when you went on a day shift, a 12-hour day shift, and you go in, and this is really bad, this is going to be controversial, in England, when you are a band 6 and you've been qualified a long time, you don't get primips with an epidural on SINT. They go to the newly qualified. And that's just something that happens.
Yeah, they just sit with them. Just sit and look at the CTG.
Yes.
That's all they need to do.
Yeah, exactly. And they can practice they can practice their vaginal assessments when people are uncomfortable. They're using their IV training. They're like doing all of those things. So I tended to get more of the lower risk people. So then when I was then at this hospital and I was getting them all the time, I was like, I'm not enjoying it. So I worked on triage, which I love. I love answering calls. I love education. I just love talking to people. And I would watch people have a conversation and not explain anything to the woman. And the woman would ring 5 times that day because they didn't understand what was going on. And I would speak to the woman and they'd not ring me until the next day. And I'd be like, there you go. Well done. You've done it. I was like, you've got to educate them effectively so that they know what they're going through is normal, and you can feel like this for a few days, and this is all a normal process, and you're okay. So I enjoyed that. Then I did in charge shifts, which were good. So I quite like being in charge, as in we didn't have any patients, so I would help with the more junior staff, which I like doing. So I would go in and help with cannulation. I'd go in and help with like specific stuff, and like bed managed. And then rotational, and I did some on dom. So it's called domiciliary out here. Community is called domiciliary, and basically you only do 4 or 5 a day.
What, home visits?
Yes.
In your whole shift?
In 8 hours. Yeah. And also you only do visits until 2 p.m. and then you go back and do the notes for 2 hours.
You get allotted time to do notes?
Yeah, you have to be back in the office by 1:30, 2, and then you finish at 4:30, but you do all of your notes at that point.
Okay, so you don't get 12 home visits, a clinic, and then have to go home and your own time write your notes at home.
No. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's bigger. So some visits can be 30 minutes drive away. But you get
some visits I have a 45-minute drive away.
Oh God. What? Yeah, but we can spend like an hour in each person's house and like just chill in that. It's nice.
But that's wonderful because we'd have to flit in and flit out. Like, oh my God, I've got to drive 30 minutes there and 30 minutes there. I'm going to be here till midnight.
Yeah.
Because then you get to actually sit with the woman, especially like with the postnatal visits.
Yeah.
Then, you can help breastfeeding rates by sitting and helping her feed, and, with her mental health as well.
Yeah.
We just need to go in, tick list, right? How many poos? How many wees a baby done? Let's have a quick feel of your uterus. You're not bleeding too much, are you? All right, then see you later.
Yeah.
Because you have to get across town within 10 minutes, to get to the next appointment, which is actually half an hour away.
At home once you put your kids to bed.
Yeah, that's not ideal. No, I never took anything home. Nothing was taken home.
Wow.
I know. So nice.
We've kind of been doing this podcast for a bit now, and we've spoke to midwives from a lot of places. One particularly in Oklahoma that was released yesterday, and she has explained to us how the care seems maybe not the same as in Australia, but you get much more time with women, and you can actually be a really good midwife and look at things holistically and actually make sure this woman is good from the inside out. Whereas I feel like in the UK, you don't have time for that.
No.
There's no time for that.
And like, I remember like being on the postnatal ward, which I actually thrived in. Like, someone with ADHD loves adrenaline. And when I was on that ward and I knew I had like 2 bays of women, I would be just like running around like a lunatic. And I was just like, yes, this. And I was like, I don't need to worry about going to the toilet. I can just eat at 5 p.m. And then it's the end of the day. I've had a break at 5 p.m. I started at 7, got my break at 5 p.m. and then I'm home at 7. So it's absolutely great. So I would like love that. And like I had such a like list and ways that I did things, but it was a lot. Like some of the like they used to laugh at me because on delivery suite we would have the elective cesarean sections, so we would have like 4 or 5 a day, and they would come to recovery, and like we called it like high dependency, but it wasn't. It was just like post theatre recovery, and there'd be like all of them in there, and then I would be looking after them, and after 4 hours I'd be like, shower, come on. And I'd walk them down the corridor. They'd be like, oh my God, she's at it again. She's showering them. Oh my God. And I'd be like, come on. I'd be like, you'll feel better after this. I said, you'll be able to get up easier in the morning. You'll be able to do everything with your baby tonight. You'll not feel horrible sat in your own blood with no undies or like knickers on. I was like, you'll feel great. I mean, I've had a couple of them faint, and I'm like, here's some Lucozade. You're all right, hun. Come on.
Dextrose tablet under your tongue.
And then they're like, and then they always say, I've never had one say to me, obviously if they're unwell or they've lost a lot of blood, I would never do this, but elective cesarean sections who come in that morning, go in for a cesarean section, come out, their anaesthetic wears off, they can mobilise, they do not need to go to the ward at 11 a.m. and not get up until 10 a.m. the next morning. That is going to increase the risk of DVTs. It's going to mean that they need help with their baby overnight. They can't lift their baby. They're not going to get used to being able to walk around after having a cesarean section. So I used to always just get them up. So I was always just in the shower with people. I was just constantly scrubbing people's legs, putting their undies on. Oh, I was telling my friend who's having twins about this guy. I said a couple of the dads are really good, and they'd be like, no, I'll go in the shower with her. And I said, okay. So I was like stripping the bed, cleaning the room, tidying up, getting rid of the bins and whatnot. And I said, oh, do you want to just go in there with her? And I was getting her some undies, some netty knickers. Sorry, they say undies out here. It's so annoying. No one knows what knickers are. So I went to go and get their knickers, and I like tapped on the door and opened it, and he was stalkers, bent over, bollocks out. And I was like, oh, I said, no, I didn't mean you get washed as well.
No,
I meant
yeah.
just wash her.
I love that. Oh my God. You know what that just reminded me of? I've got to tell you a story. Okay. It didn't happen to me. This is a story that happened to one of my students, right? I wasn't on the shift, and it would have been hilarious to be on this shift. So this is on a birthing unit, and my student was like 3rd year, not far off qualifying. So they kind of leave her in the room, midwife's outside, just let us know if you need anything. Yeah. Pop her head in and out, low risk labour. So the mom gets in the pool, and the dad said, oh, can I get in? And she was like, yeah, if you want at some point to get in. So he was thinking about it. She pops out to go get him, comes back in, and the dad's in the pool.
Naked.
But, thinks nothing of it. No, well, nobody's seen anything at this point. So the mom's kind of on the dad's lap. The dad's kind of sat on the stool in the birth pool, and she's kind of sat on his lap. And it's been realised an hour goes by, he's giving her a massage, everything's fine. Anyway, a few minutes later, the student pulls the emergency bell, right? So everyone, you know what it's like, everyone starts coming in, right? And they're like, what's the matter? And she's like, it's an arm presentation. There's an arm presentation. Then one of the consultants was coming down, because we don't have doctors on birthing units, but one of the consultants was coming past which is by. So he's like, quick, I'll nip in. So we just went, everyone out. And the student's like, no, there's arm. He said, everyone out. Everyone out. I said to the mom, don't worry, you're good. It's fine. So she comes out, and the student went, no, there was an arm. He said, that's not an arm, that was a penis. That was the dad.
Oh my God, did the dad not realise though?
No, he hadn't even thought about it. It's like, I'm not sure why he got in naked. I'm really confused. But, like, get in if you want. Just keep your pants on, your trunks, right?
Yeah. Some shorts, Speedos, budgie smokers.
This poor student who is scarred for life pulled the emergency buzzer. One of our main consultants came into that room as well. And it was
how big was this person's arm?
Yeah,
That's the
question. Lucky man.
And then I remember her phoning me going, you are never going to believe what's just happened to me. It's brilliant.
Oh, how embarrassing.
She won't make that mistake again, though.
No, absolutely.
Or she might do.
You can get him, but keep your undies on. Like, undies there. I'm going to keep that one.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Next time on Just a Sharp Scratch, the extra dose.
Because that's
absolutely.
That's where there's a massive gap, I think, between the private sector and the NHS in the UK. where do the middle ground go? Where do the people who need to speak to a midwife go, who can't get hold of their community midwife? It's not urgent to phone triage or the hospital, but they can't afford a private midwife consultation for hundreds of pounds. Women are going to Google, and they do. And no matter what,
100%.
Google it. Phone a midwife and ask a midwife. Don't Google it, because I can tell you, I can sift through all that noise and actually tell you the facts. Google are going to tell you that your legs are going to fall off. So call a midwife instead.
Yes.
I feel like we beat our record, Martin, as well. The last one we did, we said, like, we've kind of maxed out this podcast. Look at the time.
Yeah. I know. I think we broke the record by at least 10, 15 minutes. So to let you know, this will be the 2-part special.
Two-part special. God, I can just talk for
Look
hours.
at that. You've made it into the 2-part special group.
Love it. I told you. They're like, God, I can just talk for hours. We just chat.
I'm the worst, though. I could literally sit here for hours and hours and hours.